So Turra Music has landed the UDO Super 6. It's a boutique synthesizer from Bristol in the UK. It's a hybrid synthesizer, so it's got a little bit of digital, a little bit of analog, and it fuses them together really nicely. Yeah, it's got the traditional waveforms you'd expect out of an analog synthesizer, but then some extra harmonic choices with basically these single cycle waveforms which are included inside. Yeah, I'm going to show off the different sounds this oscillators can make. They're called DDS, which I think is direct digital synthesis. They're just oscillators, but they're flexible. There's two of those. There's a low pass filter, which is an SSM/SSI 24 dB per octave filter. Sounds awesome. There's a high pass filter in there as well with some drive settings. Then you kind of got this analog section, which is the VCA and the envelopes. And yeah, we got other things you'd expect, like an LFO, two of them. And then there's this binaural mode, which basically the whole synth has this stereo interplay. So you can modulate via LFO1, which is an LFO per voice. You can basically get tremolo effects, ring mod effects, but per side of the synth. And you can do that with the filter as well. Basically anything that you use LFO1 for, or one of the oscillators for, you can kind of get this stereo interplay, which is really cool. It's got this digital delay, which can be synced, and also it's got some chorus settings. And you know, these very distinct looks, which you might think, oh, Roland. And yeah, and also, I don't know, I'm getting some Dave Smith Prophet kind of sounds, you know, and even like Oberheim kind of sounds as well. I'm just going to show you how beautiful the synth sounds by itself, just using a sine wave on oscillator 1, just with some release. And I'm just going to do something really simple again. I'm going to use this binaural aspect of the synth and send some modulation from LFO1 to the VCA, which will just give some tremolo effects. Same thing, but on a sawtooth, and it'll be a little bit more obvious because it's a buzzier sound. You'll kind of recognize where it is in the stereo field a bit more. So here we go, kind of in a mono aspect at the moment. And I'm going to affect the phase of those two. It's because it's got LFO per left and right, so. All right, I'm just going to look at another waveform here again. We're actually going to use the pulse width. And of course, you've got control over that pulse width, which I'm going to introduce as we muck around with this LFO sound on the VCA as well. Oops, I need to switch this on. Yeah, so I'm getting some really, really beautiful sounds out of that, and all I've done is the filter's wide open, I've got some long release on the envelope, and we're just mucking around with the VCA and that sort of tremolo effect. Yeah, so very beautiful. I'll do some filter sweeps here. We'll go back to a sawtooth wave because it's quite easy to hear, and we all kind of recognize that sound, that sawtooth wave. So I'm going to go back to a default patch, which is really easy, shift and manual. Yeah. Really beautiful wave shapes. So here we go. Filter sweep on this 24 dB per octave filter with no resonance. Do 50% resonance. And we can do 100% resonance, protect your ears kind of moment. Hey? Oh yeah, I'm going to actually just do some self-oscillating on that filter now, because that's another thing. We've got this control over the filter in the stereo field. So we've kind of got two now self-oscillating filters. So yeah, it's really flexible, a lot of different sound possibilities there. Let's have a listen to some of the presets they've got. Pretty cool. Nice. So yes, like I said, we have these oscillator choices, which are classic choices basically you'd expect in an analog synthesizer. They are all digital oscillators basically. So yeah, here we go through the basic choices you'd expect to begin with. So sine is very lovely. Saw. We've got square. And triangle, noise. And then we get this section, which is sort of like I don't know, it's like a square sitting on its side into a grid shape. Basically, they're these digital oscillator choices. So this is sound 1. Almost sounds like it was a bell or something. Yeah, and this is my experience with this synth. You kind of find something, you're like, it's really kind of inspires quite quickly. So I've just kind of gone like, oh, okay, what sound is that? This is the 8th oscillator choice in the sort of digital, user oscillator selection. And I just added some release, and it's already kind of got this really cool tone. But then I just kind of want to explore with that. I want to add some things which all these direct controls it has, like this delay in the chorus. So I'll add those. Chorus. Bit more release. I've really done very little to make it sound so cool. Like personally for me, that just sounds like a sound I definitely use straight away. Yeah, we'll use the filter here to kind of like take away some of the harmonics to begin with, but then kind of modulate them over time with this envelope here. So I'm going to go and dial that in. Can actually use this DDS2 as a LFO. So I'll use that. I've got this LFO setting. DDS2 here is a slider, this direct control. I'll bring that up. Not sure what I'm going to get. So that DDS2 is going so slow, it almost sounds like it's a delay, like it's kind of like opening and closing the filter, but it kind of sounds like it's delay. I've got no delay on. So I might bring that down, and then kind of like perform with it, bring it up. I'm going to bring in that delay now, which if I hit this sync button, it will keep it in time with the master clock, which I'm not playing anything else right now, but at least I can now dial this in, this tempo here, and it will kind of shift around. You hear it go wild. Which just sounds huge in the room to me. Here we go, LFO1, once again, the same old trick, but it just adds a lot of movement. So LFO1 going to the VCO. I'm going to crank the VCO now, kind of get a bit more like body out of it. I'll just be careful on this master volume. We've got this drive mode here in the filter as well. And I can also add even more kind of modulation, some more movement with this pulse width, and which we're kind of getting this interplay with the oscillators now. It's going to kind of duplicate the oscillators and detune them all from each other. So as I bring this up, you're kind of getting the detune amount and then how much movement is in that. If you don't switch this up, it doesn't work. And we've also got this thing called high frequency mode. So there's different wave shape choices for that LFO there, but there's actually a thing called high frequency, which if I go into high frequency mode, we're getting kind of audio rate modulation from that LFO. anyway, there's a lot more to talk about with this thing, and yeah, I keep kind of getting sort of lost in it, but in the best possible way. It really, really sounds excellent, and I think UDO's done an awesome job to make such a compelling synthesizer. It's super impressive, and I've just loved it. I might have to get one. So yeah, thank you so much for watching me kind of find my way through this thing, and yeah, it's in store now to check out. So yeah, make your way in or check out this video, and hope you have enjoyed.